Welcome to another powerful communication podcast from Comsteria. This is Colin Kelly, and you can keep up to date with everything that we're doing at comsteria.co.uk. Now, one of the things I always encourage clients to do in our media training is to look at the media and consume the media with a critical eye, to think about why is that story being covered, how's this story being told, how did it get there, and what aspects of the story are used in a particular way to make it interesting. And there's a really useful one today on BBC Scotland. They're running this on their website, they're running it across the radio, it's going on television as well. And what's happened here is that Police Scotland have partnered with the BBC, maybe some other journalists as well, and they've invited them to go along while they arrest a suspected paedophile. There's a partnership with the media. The media get to go along, they get footage, they get moving pictures, they get something that most people don't get to see, that other media won't be able to report today because of that partnership between, in this case, the broadcaster and the police. The other thing that is really interesting about this story is what we call the hook. So something somebody says, an aspect of the story that drifts all the way up to the top. Okay, and becomes the hook, the main angle on the story. And that is this quote from one of the detectives involved in this, who says that paedophiles are making online contact with children and they can do so within 30 seconds of trying. It's that number, it's that statistic that has brought this story to life. It's something fresh, something that hasn't been said before. It gives the story a sense of urgency. It means that even people who thought they knew what was going on, they thought they knew how these people operate, this is an alarm bell ringing, this is a warning saying, look, it's even easier than you think. 30 seconds is all it takes. And it's the introduction of that number that gives this story, I'm not saying it wouldn't be important anyway, but it gives it a whole other dimension, this use of the 30 seconds. And journalists are trained to look for these hooks, to look for the drama in the story, for that aspect of the story that you can say to a friend, God, did you know it only takes 30 seconds? Wow. And I remember 30, 40 years ago watching the TV, and they would do something very similar about, here's how easy it is to hotwire a car. Here's how, look how easy they can crack the lock on this car. They break in and they're driving off 30 seconds. My goodness. Look, I'll show you how we do it. And they've even got, a kind of dummy example. And it horrifies people. It stops people in their tracks. And of course, that's what the police are wanting people to do. They want people to realise what's going on and change the behaviour, take steps to make sure that they're protected or that their children are educated or whatever it is. So in this story, we've got moving pictures, we've got access that most journalists don't get, and we've got a really compelling hook in the form of a statistic. So it's a horrible subject matter, but there's lessons in here for everybody. If you can apply some of that same thinking to your own stories and your own situations, and look for these hooks now. When you're consuming media, listen to TV and radio, watching the news, reading newspapers, look for these hooks and see if you can introduce some to your own stories.